freshman year. I was playing football and a freak accident happened on the field. Uh, Hurt my knee, was out for a little bit, and I really just learned that you gotta take care of your body first and foremost, because the best ability is availability. But also just you gotta have a positive outlook. When I did that, I was like thinking very negatively. They said it was gonna be a bad injury, but when I was able to get back on some crutches and stuff, I was back out on that field helping and leading and doing the best I could for other people.
Welcome to the Raquel Show. This show is for entrepreneurs who want to play bigger in business and in life. And today I have a very special guest. It is my oldest. And the reason why I wanted to bring him back on the show is he recently achieved a really big goal of his that in the beginning seemed so far-fetched, and it really didn't have any guarantee. He wanted to play Division I basketball on a full ride, and less than 1% ever receive a D1 scholarship. And as entrepreneurs, when we decide to open up our business or start our real estate career, there isn't a guarantee. Sometimes we battle day in and day out without ever getting paid, or maybe getting paid months later. And with challenges that we constantly go through, there is always something bigger that we need to focus on to get through those tough days. And I wanted to talk about this journey. As I said before, I believe my kids teach me so many life lessons. So welcome to the show, Bryce Quinet.
Hello, everybody.
Well, we are so excited to have you on the show. And so we have a few questions for you, starting with, when did you decide to play Division One? Or actually, better yet, when did you think about playing Division One became like really a goal for you?
I started playing basketball really young, and you really don't understand what level you're playing at. So I thought, I'm just going to go and I'm going to play in the NBA. But as I kept getting older and stuff, I realized there were levels to basketball, and the next level that I thought was a challenge and a goal for me was Division One. And so ever since about that seventh, eighth grade, I had my eyes set on, I'm going to work towards it, and I'm going to be a Division One college basketball player.
Now, was there ever a time where you wanted to give up or didn't think that the goal was worth it?
Not really. When you're doing something you love to do, that you're always going to be happy. Some days you're going to come in, you're going to struggle, but in the end, you're doing what you want to do, and you really can't be mad at that. So, no.
I love it. Like I said earlier, getting a D1 scholarship in basketball is really hard. And you mentioned there's just different levels of basketball. I remember one of my mentors was saying typically you play in your own city or the next city over when you want to compete. But Raquel's family actually travels from state to state competing. So, how many times were you ever told that like you didn't look the part? What were like some of the key things that you did to get on the path of making like this goal of yours a reality? Because I know it's not easy.
Yeah, definitely not easy. So, I might not be as athletic as the next player, I might not be as tall as them, but for me, it was just doing the little things, because that's what really matters when you're trying to stick yourself out from the group, is communicating, being a great teammate, working hard all the time, no matter what the score is, what's going on in the game, being a great leader, diving on the floor, being tough. Those are the things that are going to separate you, because those are the hard things in the game. So most people are not going to want to do that, or they're not confident enough to do that. So getting out of your shell and forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do in order to meet that goal, I think that's what really set me apart from the average player.
So I think that's really interesting because sometimes it's doing the things that most people don't want to do. And that also happens in business. Doing the little things that actually matter, that separate you from your competition. And you went through a lot of offers through this whole recruiting process. How did you choose your top schools and how did you end up with your final choice?
Yeah, first, it's a blessing to have so many choices to choose from. I'm very thankful for those opportunities. But I told all the coaches that I talked to, I was looking for three main things when it came to a school. First was just an opportunity to get on the court as a freshman, because now with players being a lot older in college and stuff, it's tough for a guy coming in and working for a spot. So that was my first thing I was looking for. Secondly was all the schools I chose, they had pretty good academics. That was another big part. My mom, she taught me from a young age that your brain's going to stick with you forever. So that was the second piece. And then third was walking into a program where the team is really connected, a great culture around the program and stuff. So those were the three things that I was looking for in a school. And then lastly, the most important that I didn't really tell most of them was just the connection and the relationships I had with the players and the coaches. That was a big piece for me, just so I could be comfortable with where I'm going for the next 4 years. So that's what I was looking for.
I really like the last piece because I always tell people on this show that sometimes when you get opportunities, it's not always like all about the opportunities. Sometimes it's the relationships that really truly get you far in life and that start to open up doors for you. How did you make your final decision?
It was really tough building a relationship with all these coaches and stuff, and then having to let them know that you're not going to be following through and going to their school. It was definitely tough, but at the end of the day, I was just going to try to do what was best for me and my family and my goals. And I believe I made the right decision.
Yeah, for those that are listening, I got to witness and be on the sidelines as Bryce was going through his recruiting journey of these last couple of months. He had a goal to obviously make the decision before starting his senior year. And so the spring and the summer became really, really busy. And I can tell you that I would be in my office working, and he would constantly be getting phone calls and text messages, or we'd go on a trip to one of his games out of state and there was lots of text messages. I'm like, how did you keep up with all of the messaging and all of the phone calls from all the different schools?
I mean, this summer I was trying to work on my communication skills. So it actually helped me a lot being able to talk to a bunch of different people. Yeah, I'm normally not a talkative person, but it got me out of my shell, got me to know all these great coaches, great people. It was definitely tough. Got to remember what you're telling all these coaches before they call you again. But it was a great experience. I had a blast.
Now, the question that I want to ask you, because this also happens in business when we have like really big goals and things don't always go our way, is how do you continue? It's been about 10 years, right? How do you continue to stay motivated and focused throughout all the years of playing basketball?
Well, it starts with my family. They push me every day. They apply me with great opportunities of every resource I could ask for. They're going to give it to me. So just paying it back to them, that motivates me a lot. And also just that voice in your head when you have a goal and you really want to achieve that and your body's telling you to stop. Your mind is trying to tell you to stop, but inside your body you have something more to push. So staying motivated, it's just a discipline thing. You either have it or you don't. But for me, it was just, I got to keep grinding. I got to keep getting better. I don't want to stay complacent. So I just stayed motivated.
That's probably one pattern that I see with a lot of people that I coach. Like, what makes the top of the top so different from your average in our industry is really like you go and do the activities, you do the actions, even when you don't feel like it, right? You go to the gym, even when you don't feel like it. You can tell yourself you're tired, but you still push through and you still go to the gym because there's a goal there for you. I think your work ethic is absolutely incredible, and I always tell you that it inspires me. How do you stay you talked about being disciplined. How do you stay disciplined and manage your time with academics and basketball? Because as you know, and as you've said on the show, and for people that are listening, academics is really big in our family. Mom doesn't let you go away with lower grades. Let's just say that. And you've been able to maintain above a 4.0, 4.2, right? So, how do you manage the discipline of both sports and academics, or just manage your time, even with friends, relationships, all of that?
Yeah, when you want to be successful and you get an opportunity to be successful, you got to put your heart into it. You got to go all out. You can't leave opportunities at the door. I don't really think about it in my head. It's just let's go do it, um, because that's the type of person I am. I'm gonna listen to what's being told, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. So there's not really a problem with discipline. Maybe a little procrastination, but um, I'm gonna do it no matter what.
I absolutely love that. And I know that anytime that somebody reaches their goals in business or in life, that it isn't always what people see on social media. We tend to glamorize what's happening on social media like it's really, really easy. But I know this journey has been tough. This journey has been hard. So, can you share a time where you faced a setback or a failure, and what did you learn?
Yeah, this wasn't actually in basketball. This was freshman year. I was playing football and a freak accident happened on the field. Uh, Hurt my knee, was out for a little bit, and I really just learned that you gotta take care of your body first and foremost because the best ability is availability. But also just you gotta have a positive outlook. When I did that, I was like thinking very negatively. They said it was gonna be a bad injury, but when I was able to get back on some crutches and stuff, I was back out on that field helping and leading, doing the best I could for other people. Because when you're a leader like that and your teammates hear from you or your coworkers hear from you, they really take it to heart. So they look up to you, and I just try to do my best to share some knowledge and help them out.
Bryce, you actually make me a little emotional because I remember that time, right? I remember the time where it was almost, and I tell other parents that are in sports, sometimes when there is a setback like that, there's a mindset shift that happens. And you can see why even athletes, professional athletes, NBA, NFLs, people actually go through some type of depression because they're limited on doing what they love the most, or they're limited on what their body has always been used to, and all of a sudden they can't do it. So I love your outlook on the leadership part of it, because you still can show up for other people even when you don't necessarily feel so great. But I think in the end you overcame such a big thing that you thought for sure. I remember you thought for sure that you were done playing basketball. Like it was it. That freak accident was like your I remember your words saying, "My career is over." Do you remember that?
I do. And I also want to add to that leadership point, like like I said, when you're a leader or when you're very successful and the people like not below you, but the people you work with, you encourage them and you give them intel, they really take it and they're like, wow, he just talked to me. He just gave me some advice. It shows that you have confidence in the people around you, and that ultimately brings the whole team group up together. So being a leader is very important when you're
Yeah,
at the top of your class, group, team, whatever.
so true. What did mom used to say to you and still says to you when it comes to leadership?
You used to say, be a leader, and then me and Brexton would have to repeat, even when nobody's watching, because that's when your true character shows.
I love it. I love it. So your dad, let's talk about your dad, right? Your dad has been your coach most of your life. I got to ask, and I'm sure people know because some people have watched it on the sideline. How difficult, or was that difficult for you in the beginning, and as you got older, did it become more difficult because it became more competitive? Talk us through what that dynamic was between your father being your coach.
It is difficult a little bit. You want to do your best to show someone that you look up to. You want to show them that you belong out there and you're answering what he's asking you to do. But at the same time, it's easy because you have such a good relationship with him. that he'll trust you, and he just wants the best for me. So that's always what I think whenever I'm mad at him. Like, he's trying to help me. It's not like he's gonna want to hurt me or hurt my chances at succeeding. It's all from his heart and wanting me to be better. So
One of the things that I saw as you got older is you started to be more calm, even in the face of coaching from your dad. What do you think you learned throughout the years from when you were younger to where you're at today, being a senior?
Mom, that's a really good question. Mental toughness, it's a big part. And I think I learned a lot of that from playing football. Times are going to get hard. You're going to get in the dirt. You're going to get sweaty. It's not going to feel comfortable all the time, but you have to push through if you want to be successful. You're not going to win by just sitting on the bench. Uh, but just handling the pressure and stuff, I'd say it's not really pressure if you don't think about it.
Yeah.
People are going to say whatever they want. You just keep doing you,
Yeah.
because they in the whole grand scheme of things, they really don't matter. You're the one playing, you're the one on the court, they're the one talking on the sideline for a reason. So I most all the time, actually, I block them out, and you just do you.
You bring up a really good point because I always tell like our mastermind members, our coaching clients, you got to thrive under pressure because in life, you are going to get pressure. You're going to be challenged, whether it's a test in school, right? Whether it's a coworker, whether it's somebody's emotion, whether somebody says something to you. And I've always told you guys as well, is like pressure is a part of the game of life. And what did I always remind you? I always remind you, you thrive under pressure, right? And I think that's when your true character also shows because when people have pressure on them, they react to what's comfortable or they can overcome it. So, what's one piece of advice that you would like to leave our audience, whether it's them pursuing their passion or dealing with challenge or achieving their goals?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that I've learned is to not care about what other people think, because that's only going to limit how good you can be. If you're always thinking about someone else, I know a quote, it's comparison is the thief of joy. So if you're always trying to compare yourself to other people, you're never going to realize what you're actually doing. So if you just stay locked in, you put in all the work, you show up every day ready to go, and you're not paying attention to all the hate, the pressure, all that, you're going to be fine. You're going to win. So that's a piece of advice that I'd like to share.
I love it. You just started today, actually, matter of fact, your senior year, and you've picked your college. And gosh, have I tell everybody I've learned so much in that whole recruiting process. I had no idea all the different factors of Division One. There's low, mid, and high, and then there's 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. There's NIL. I mean, there's so many like brand deals. There's so many different things. But what are you like looking forward to the most when it comes to college or your basketball career?
Just getting better. That's what I always look for. I'm always trying to get better, trying to learn new things and keep progressing on my journey that God has set me out on. I'm just looking forward to playing with great players who have a similar goal in mind to just make it. So I'm very excited to get there, but we still have this senior year to go through. It's going to be long, and it's also going to be short. It's going to go by fast, but I'm very excited to head on to college.
And your little brother plays basketball as well, my little Brex. How do you think you playing has influenced him, and what do you hope to teach him in the future, or what do you hope you inspire him to do?
Yeah, my brother, obviously love him a lot, and I know he loves me too. So every time I step on the court, I want to show him that I'm giving it my all. I'm always playing as hard as I can, doing whatever the team needs. That's what I want to teach him. Is sometimes the situation is going to ask you to do something you might not be the best at, but if you go and you do it correctly, you're going to stay on the court more. You're going to get more opportunities. So just being versatile, being ready, very important. Always be ready for your opportunity, and just doing everything at 100%. That's what I want to pass on to my brother.
Awesome. What's one lesson you've learned from your parents?
For my parents, just to fight through adversity, probably. Every team, every household, every family goes through some tough times, but what are you going to do about it? Are you just going to sit there and always ask for help, or are you going to complain? No, you're going on to the next thing. And once you finish that next thing, you go to the next thing. So just keep fighting even when times get tough. You're going to keep going, and you set up the future by doing stuff now. If you work hard now, your kids, your grandkids, they're going to be successful because of the work you put in.
I love it. And as we wrap up, there's always one question, of course, that I ask every single guest on the show is what's one thing that Bryce does to play bigger in business or in life?
Just enjoy every moment you have and every experience. You look at the positives in all aspects, and because you only can experience something one time in your life. If you have a positive outlook and you really enjoy what you're doing at the time, you're going to have a great time. You're going to have a lot of fun.
Awesome. Bryce, I know you're really busy and we're recording this podcast that you guys all are listening to or watching on YouTube at night because this guy is really busy with training practices, school now. So I want to say thank you so much for being on our show. Thank you so much for your time. I am so honored to be your mother. I absolutely love you. I will be your biggest cheerleader from here on out since you were born, and I cannot wait to keep seeing you play bigger, my son.
Thank you, Mom. I love you so much. I'm so proud to call you my mom, and I want to thank you for your knowledge and encouragement throughout my whole life. So I love you.
I love you. We have an inside joke, my folks.